All right, so continuing off from the previous lessons where we discussed balances, off and balances, I'm now going to transfer some tokens from the founder, which is the person who deployed the smart contract, to somebody else. Now, for that, I'm going to use any of these functions over here. So I've got the transfer, I've got transfer from, and I've got approve. So for now, what I want to do is I simply want to move my 1000 tokens from X to Y. So I'm just going to put over here. So let me say task 1, move 500 tokens from the founder address to another address. So that is your task, and I would like you to pause this video and try to do this task yourself. So your task number 1 is move 500 tokens from the founder's address to another address. So pause the video for 1 minute and try to execute this task. All right, so assuming you have successfully solved this, I'm now going to solve this task 1 for you. So the task is, the goal is to move 500 tokens from the founder's address. Now for that, we are going to first find the founder's address. So I'm going to click over here and I'm going to find out the address of the founder. So I'll simply copy this over here. So I will say address of founder is this. And my goal is to move 500 tokens from the founder to somebody else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find somebody else. So to find somebody else, to find another address, let's pick up, let's say this one, right? And I'm simply going to copy this. So this is 0x583. It's quite similar to this one. So let me see if I can pick up something different. So yeah, let's pick up this one. So this is 0x1A E. That's the starting digit. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to say that this is my recipient. And this is the address of the recipient. So what I did was I simply just picked up some other address from this list. And the reason I didn't pick up this one was it's just a bit looking too close to this one. So just not to confuse you. So I just picked up any random address. So I chose this one. You can obviously pick any of these. And then I copied it by simply clicking the copy button over here. And then I pasted it over here for my record. So I've got the address of the sender, which is the founder. And then I've got the address of the recipient. Now, which of these functions I should call to transfer? So for that, what I'm going to do is, since I'm already in the founder, so I'm going to go to the founder address. So I'm going to select the from by selecting the founder address. And I'm going to put the address of the person I'm transferring to inside the transfer function. So I'm simply going to copy this and I'm going to go to the transfer function and I will paste this address over here. So I have copied and pasted the address of the recipient over here. And I'm simply going to select the amount that I want to transfer by clicking on this arrow button. So I just simply expanded this. And the amount to transfer as per our task is 500. So I'm simply going to type 500 tokens. And I will simply hit transact. Now, notice the moment I hit transact, a transaction has been executed. And I should have successfully transferred from the founder. So this is where from the founder comes from, into this new address, which is the recipient, 500 tokens. Now, your next task is, how do you check this? So let's mark this as task number 2. And let's pause the video for a minute. And your goal is that how do you check the recipient has received 500 tokens? So pause the video for a minute and see if you can solve this yourself. All right, so assuming you have successfully solved it, in case you haven't, let's follow along. All right, so the goal is that how do you check the recipient now has received 500 tokens from the founder? So where is the address of the recipient? So this is the address of the recipient. I'm simply going to copy this address and I'm simply going to go and now paste the address of the recipient inside balance of. So remember that the balance of function was the function that essentially tells us how many tokens an address has. So this time what I have to do is I have to pass this balance of function the address of the recipient, and it will tell me that this account of recipient has how many tokens. So if I click on this, notice that it returns me successfully 500, which essentially means that the transfer function went off quite smoothly. And I can do the same thing over here as well. So if I pass the address of the recipient inside balances, so it's essentially going to go inside the balances mapping, and I'm asking inside the balances mapping what is the value of tokens inside this recipient address. So pass to the recipient address and it should return me the unsigned value of tokens. And if I click on balance, it again returns me 500. So I hope that makes sense and you're clear on using the transfer function and passing 500 tokens from the founder to some recipient. Now, my third question before I end this video is your task number 3, should you choose to accept it, is how do I now check the balance remaining inside my founder's account? The answer should be very simple and straightforward. I'll simply copy the address of the founder. So I'll copy the address of the founder, and this time I'm going to paste it back into the balance of function. And you can see I've pasted the address of the founder inside the balances of function, and I'm simply going to hit call. Now, the moment I hit call, notice that my founder had 1000 tokens, and out of those 1000 tokens, 500 tokens have been sent to another recipient. So both the balances and the balances of function are going to return me 500, which is the amount that is left with the founder. So I hope task number 3 is also successfully ticked off and you're very clear on how you interact with the smart contract, getters and functions, and with all of that and more in the next video.